We are the Leg Kick Podcast, here to talk about, the history of American slavery. I'm your host.
Always decolonize.
Decolonize your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways.
And your third eye. Sorry, go on.
You know what, David? I'm not sure I'm comfortable with you talking.
It's that
first
kind
of all,
of night.
you were half an hour late.
I'm sorry. I've been watching some,
porn?
Anyway, sorry, go
Wait,
on.
what? What?
Anti-racist movies and, where we stick it to the man. So, yeah, I'm riled up.
I was watching a documentary the other day, and it was about this Latino gangster guy who ended up killing this girl, and they were talking about his MySpace profile, because this is the most, 2006 thing of all time, and they're like, he didn't watch movies, he watched porn. He didn't read books, he loved cooking. I'm like, what? What is this? What is that? This is the most 2006 sentence I've heard in my life. Anyways, we're the Leg Kick Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Stefano, the Frog of War, Hosko. We've got Mike. Mike, say hi to the audience. Say hi for yourself.
Hi. Why are you holding a sword?
In case one of you tries to run up on me through
Fair
the screen, I'll know what to do. I'm armed. I'm dangerous, and I'm just a little
armed
bit
and
sexy.
dangerous.
Next, we've got Jalof Jeremy. Jeremy, say something for yourself.
Man, I had a clever introduction in the chamber, and it completely lost it. Man, this short-term memory loss is a killer.
Well, Jeremy, why don't you go clean your toilet, and maybe you'll think of it.
You know what? I would respond to that, but you have the profile of a school shooter, so I'm gonna.
Yo, is that an edit? That's got to be an edit.
That's an edit. There's no way.
Did that cross the line?
No, why would that be an edit?
Did I cross the
racist
line?
against white people?
But I don't
Did I
know if
cross the
YouTube
line
is
then?
gonna be like if YouTube
I guess-
would be like, yeah.
It's statistically accurate. I don't know. Anyway.
I
Wait,
think it's
what?
fine.
I'm tired of
Anyway.
everybody messing with me, man.
Guys,
Hold
can
on a
we,
second.
let's move it on. And over here, he's yellow dabba dee dabba die. He's agabuve dabba dee dabba die. David, say something. Say something for yourself.
Hello. When I saw you with that sword, it reminded me of Renaissance recreators or people who recreate Renaissance wars, wars in the 1400s.
I'd love to do something like that one day. But for now, I'll restart the Spanish Inquisition.
No one
and
expects the Spanish Inquisition.
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. Anyways, believe it or not, we're actually an MMA podcast. We are the Leg Kick, a.k.a. the Thick Leg Podcast. But you don't know that because you're not filming us from the waist down. But if you did, you'd know we had some thick legs, juicy legs. Anyways, before we get into the news.
Can we talk about also David's camp counselor story again? Or was it the orphanage story where you... No? Okay, never mind.
Wait, what is this?
David knows what we're talking about. David knows the...
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I don't know what we're talking about. I have so many stories.
So anyways,
he said waist down. I was like, oh yeah, like Dave's camp counselors in my head.
David, if you need to talk, I'm here. Anyways, we're going to get into some news today. We're going to preview the upcoming fight card. Jeremy's got some boxing. We've got some questions. David's apparently got a story about losing his virginity at camp. But before any of that...
No, I don't. I have no such story.
Yes, you do. Before any of that, make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast. Tell your friend about it if you and your enemies and your acquaintances and random homeless people on the streets that are speaking to themselves. Tell them too, because they deserve to know. Everyone needs the gift of the leg kick, and like syphilis, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Only we won't make your hair fall out. So, with that out of the way, guys, let's get into some news and views.
Cool, let's do it. What am I gonna sound off today? Wait, actually, some big news is coming up. So
some big news. Stay tuned. Yeah. Some big news.
No, it's a big day for MMA in general, actually. Just because the UFC, and has Endeavor, the parent company.
Okay, no, the UFC's gone public.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Never really thought I was gonna reach this day. It's not too long ago where MMA was banned in New York, Ontario, and
I mean, in our lifetime, it was banned everywhere.
Yeah, there was a time. Yeah,
there was a time quite a bit younger when we were kids. From 1993, from when I was born, up in we've seen the slow legalization of MMA state by state by state until the only holdouts were really Ontario and New York, and here we are.
Yeah, so
it's a big day.
Yeah, it's huge, man. No, I distinctly remember it was 2008, and Tim and Sid had a podcast where I think the gaming and sports minister said, "quote unquote," I'm tapping out of MMA, and Sid Cicero basically took a flamethrower verbally to the gaming minister of Ontario as to why he wanted to still keep MMA banned. So for it to come this full circle in the span of 10 years, 9 years, to where they're a public company and they're basically a mainstream brand, I'm not gonna lie, I like it a little bit.
Within our lifetime, we've had to push back against, accusations of human cockfighting, whatever that is. It sounds like a genre of porn. We've, MMA's been on the defensive for way too long, and quite frankly, it's nice. It's nice being at a time where major sports networks wouldn't touch MMA, at a time when it felt kind of dirty, kind of niche. And to be honest, I kind of like that. But now it's kind of nice to have that mainstream recognition as well.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If I'm not mistaken, I'm by no means an expert on this. I've literally done only a little bit of reading into this, but what's it called? Apparently, it's the UFC's parent company, or the company which holds the largest number of shares which I guess runs the UFC, and what they do is mostly live events and etc. But they actually
WMEIMG. They're the biggest talent agency.
Well, Endeavor. They're now
Endeavor is the organization that's going public, and they also work with other work on other things and are invested in other businesses, and I think they do something with video capture and all that kind of stuff, and they're probably doing.
They represent talent too.
Yeah, and they represent talent. I didn't know that, but anyway, my point is, I don't know. Do you guys think that this is going to lead to more money for the fighters somehow? Because it's not necessarily the UFC.
It never does. And without a systemic overhaul, we won't start.
What I'm trying to say is, I hear you guys saying, "Oh, it's great that the UFC is getting this public recognition and is becoming mainstream." And yes, but it's technically not the UFC that's going public. It's technically the parent company that operates and owns the UFC, and there's gonna be a little bit of detachment from the actual day-to-day operations of the UFC, I think. So my question to you is what with that, looking at that perspective, where it's not necessarily benefiting MMA in any way, it's really just the UFC, with all due respect, getting more money somehow, or just the owners of the UFC finding a way to make more money, which, God bless them, that's America, right?
I'm not necessarily thinking about it from a monetary perspective. And, look, as much of a dirty conservative as I am, I kind of have my reservations about trickle-down economics.
Mike, you're not a conservative. This doesn't have.
Hold on. Let me say my point, guys. But the point I'm trying to make, though, is just from a recognition and a mainstream perspective, I think it says something when a company literally 3 years within buying the UFC goes from horribly out of debt to public.
Well, like Childish Gambino once said, "This is America." No, hamburger.
What?
What? That's what he said, right?
What?
Yeah, moving and shaking within the UFC. So,
Stefano, sometimes they're hits, sometimes they're misses. It's all
you guys
good.
liked it. Anyways, next on the docket, this has to do with the Chris Weidman injury. And if you're squeamish, I recommend you go and take a pee break now. So apparently, I don't even want to say it. It's so So apparently, you know how his leg snapped, right?
Evaporate into dust, yes.
Yeah. Well, the extent of the injury is worse than we thought because apparently when he went to plant on the leg, his broken bone drove up into his calf muscle and
Damn.
I'm going to read it. I'm going to read the quote from him. Oh, man. When I stepped my foot back after I kicked, I pulled all my weight back on my foot that was broken. The leg obviously snapped and the bone went shooting straight through my calf muscle and out my skin. No.
So it was a compound fracture, and not only that, it went directly through the calf. Fuck. Man.
I guess we just didn't see it because of the that it went through the rear, but
Yeah.
fuck me, that's disgusting and awful. And Chris, we wish you a speedy recovery here at the Leg Thick Podcast. Awful, man.
If I hate to be kind of Nostradamus, and again, I'm not a physician, but that probably means his career is over, right? If it went through his calf.
I don't know. I hope not. It's
I
at
don't
least
know.
it's severely compromised.
I just hope it can heal and he can like walk on it again.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's just like a horrific thing to happen to anybody.
Yeah. You don't wish
man,
that.
at least you got away with your life, man. I mean, well, you know, it's the way the sport goes.
Yeah, man. Matchup announcement. Chase Hooper has his next fight against Steven Peterson, Jordan Peterson's son, I believe. Well, you know, if you're going to fight Chase Hooper, you better keep it on the feet, bucko.
Will Michaela Peterson be at ringside? We don't know.
She's going to be telling everyone about the all-meat diet. And I'm going to go on Joe Rogan afterwards. Next up, looks like Khamzat's back, and that's not just all. Rumors are that he's going to be fighting, drum roll please.
Oh, I heard about this, but
Everyone's favorite stoner, Nick Diaz, everybody. Wow. This came out of left field, genuinely, and we don't know if, you know, in this age of chaos and COVID, we don't know if Nick Diaz is going to be the actual final opponent, but intriguing matchup. Probably the UFC are hoping that he'll be a springboard for Khamzat. I know they've had rough dealings with Nick in the past, but man, I've always been a big fan of Nick, and damn drug testing, you know, for something that USADA doesn't even test for anymore, that being weed, had his career basically derailed. But it's an interesting.
Hold on, that's not entirely true. They do test for it. They just test for a minimal amount on the day of, and they can tell the difference. That's it. Like,
so functionally, they're not really testing for it. Anyway, who knows how good Nick will look coming back? Clearly, he's always going to come in shape, but you know, he's a pressure fighter. He's a banger, and I think he's an interesting test for Khamzat. And stellar jiu-jitsu, no cakewalk anywhere. It's just kind of, for me, the question is, how good is Khamzat? Where's his ceiling? And how much has Father Time impacted our boy Nick? But really interested in seeing him come back.
See, so this is the interesting thing about this whole thing. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I totally forgot about that interview, and that whole like narrative that was going on for a while. So that's an interesting wrinkle in this fight with that. Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing. I was gonna say
David,
the thing about
did you just say a whole lot without saying anything at all? Do you need a coffee? David needs a coffee. Sorry, Mike. Go on.
I'm super tired, guy. I'm super tired today.
Oh, I know. I can see your eyes closing in real time.
Man, no, it's just interesting because I remember this. Like the interview was one thing where Nick just didn't look himself. So for him to come back is kind of interesting. But the other thing about this was the news for this kind of unfolded weirdly because it was after a post-fight press conference. Somebody just obscurely brought up, "Hey, is Nick Diaz playing Hamza?" And Dana wouldn't say yes or no one way or the other. And it was like, whoa, where did he hear?
I think they asked because Nick was at the fight and he was supposed to be talking to Dana afterwards. And I think it's 2 and 2 is put together. But yeah, interesting one. I don't think it really deserves any more of our attention just based on the fact that we don't really know. It's just all speculation at this point. But it looks like from what Kamzat's been saying, that's going to be the case. Next up,
says a lot of things.
Yeah, big step up in competition for Kyler Phillips. You guys remember Kyler Phillips?
Yes.
Beat Song Yadong in his last fight. Nice long karate stance, very fast. He's fighting Rafael Assunção.
Yeah.
Tough matchup for anyone. Because Assunção hits hard, knows how to slow a fight down to where, it's taking place. Good on the ground as well. It's a tough fight. It's a big step up, and there's a lot of potential to look very, very average against Assunção. So good on him for taking that fight. And then we've got Costa versus Adrian Yanez.
That's interesting.
Paulo?
I thought they were friends.
No.
Smaller Costa.
Smallo Costa.
What's the first name?
I can't remember. Adrian yet? No, that's Adrian Yanez.
We'll move on. Anyways,
I've seen a couple of his fights.
Okay, what weight class? I just want to know so I can do some research.
35.
Okay, thank you.
Anyways, breaking. Rachel Ostovich gets one step closer to making an OnlyFans. She's just signed with Bare Knuckle FC. And if she's following the career trajectory of Paige Van Zandt, that means the OnlyFans is not far off.
Okay. You know what? No comment. I will reserve my judgment to the.
Wow, low energy from you guys today. Can you
way too tired to have
Can
a
you guys snort a line of coffee beans or
I've
something?
got
Jesus.
Nothing
I'm holding this together right now.
You really
guys
are.
falling asleep.
Okay. All right.
You really are.
The reason why I want to reserve my words is because I don't want to say something that I'll regret. Okay? So I'm going to reserve my words.
Mike,
let's go to
your
the
silence
next
says more than any actual words ever could.
Okay.
Wait,
anyway,
Rachel Ostovich is the same lady who was first brought to our attention when she beat up a guy, right?
No, Rachel Ostovich was domestically.
Yeah.
Oh, with domestic violence. Okay.
Yeah. It was pretty bad by another fighter, by the way.
I remember that. I think. Yeah.
He put hands on her, or vice versa.
He put hands on her. And then she was hospitalized. And then the UFC, in their infinite wisdom, put her on the same card as Greg Hardy versus Alan Crowder. Which,
Bit tone deaf there, UFC.
Whoop-dee.
But, it's just an app that girls take advantage of. I don't see what the big deal is.
She's not making an OnlyFans. Stephanie's making a joke.
I know he is. I'm just saying. Oh, okay, so that's not the main discussion that you guys.
No, the main discussion is that
Paige Van Zandt did make an OnlyFans.
So why are you so squeamish to talk about her bare knuckle fighting? Most of these guys and girls have day jobs and have to make other ways of income.
Okay,
it's the life of a
fine.
fight.
We're gonna go here. Here's the reason why. Because no, hold on. I'm gonna explain. Here's the reason why. Because rather than her working on her jiu-jitsu, soul searching, going through the regional circuit, making adjustments in her fight game, right? Her, Paige Van Zandt, and so many other fighters, not just females, by the way, males, take the easy way out, make this dirty paycheck at Bare Knuckle FC, and then after fade into obscurity while suffering traumatic brain damage and just facially, they are never the same. Okay? So
what's there to regret about saying that? You're
no,
allowed to make. We're
the
running an
fact
MMA
is-
podcast. You're allowed to make critiques on people's skills.
no, people's decision making. Yeah, but the problem I'm having with this is that I don't want to associate Bare Knuckle FC with fighters of old and troubled past and troubled futures.
Dude, that's their whole business motto. Let's be honest here.
Because some
Bare
people-
Knuckle profits off.
Sorry, you cut. You no sound. No sound.
Self-censorship.
Here it is. Bare Knuckle FC. Yeah, that was the Bare Knuckle FC. Cyber squad trying to take us down. They've been investing a lot into cybersecurity lately and censorship of bad takes. Yeah, no, that's what their model is. Like, hey, we'll get someone that you remember from the UFC. You guys remember Thiago Alves? We remember Thiago Alves. Let's have him fight well past his expiration date. That's their motto. That's how they make their money.
Or when they're super just super well known and not very good,
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. They're like the fighting pits in Spartacus. When the leader of the gladiators goes there to basically commit suicide by fighting. That's what it is to me. It's dirty. It's disgusting. And I don't like.
You can promote bare knuckle as a class sport. You can do it.
But that's clearly not what these people are interested in, right?
Yeah.
They're interested in the circus, and it's not as bad as Treller, but
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Right.
it's quite yucky. But
It's disgusting.
Rachel Ostovich versus Paige Van Zandt, anyone?
It's probably gonna happen. Let's be
In an
honest.
OnlyFans spectacular.
Oh God.
Brought to you by
I mean,
OnlyFans.
I don't know. It's tough. On the one hand, I get it. This is a kind of like messed up part of the fight game, but on the other hand, like these are fighters, kind of like Jeremy says, right? Like,
But you know
they
what?
gotta make a living somehow, and there
circuit.
have to be platforms. And honestly, with the whole Triller thing, I've gone completely 360. I was on the side of,
360 means you're facing the same direction.
oh, 180, whatever.
But okay,
man.
but you know,
You're back at your original
what
point.
Rachel
man.
Ostovich could do? She could go to another camp. She could work on her wrestling. She could work on her jiu-jitsu. She could make adjustments. She could get better, go on a regional circuit, find herself, and come back. You know what she chose to do? Go to Bare Knuckle FC, make a quick paycheck, probably gains Brittany Hart or whatever the fuck her name is, and then, lose, get knocked out probably, then go to make RachelOstovich.com.
Oh, PFL is tonight. Okay, I thought it was tomorrow. Sorry, I no-sold you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I would have no-sold myself.
But yeah, no, you're completely right. I agree with you, and I think this matchup should be hosted on OnlyFans, if I'm completely honest. Now, next up, breaking news. Diego Sanchez signed to fight Kamaru Usman.
Is that a joke?
Do you notice the crickets there?
What, you think I'm joking?
You tried and failed, young one. All right. Let's talk about this preview because.
Wait, no. We got a couple more. Very few.
All right.
So, you hold your horses, young man. TJ Dillashaw out of his fight with Corey Sandhagen due to cuts above the eyebrow, and it looked nasty. Definitely something that would postpone the fight. And the new main event for that card is something that nobody asked for: Marina Rodriguez versus Michelle Watterson.
That's a good third from the top fight on a fight card. It's not a good main event for a fight card ever, ever.
Yeah, it's not. This is no main event.
I'll have to see what the other fights are on that card.
If that's the main event, then it's a weak card. I'm sorry.
Well, they're kind of scrambling around at the last minute to see what I guess what they can pull off. But yeah.
Yeah, it's May 8th too. It's not a lot of time, right?
Damn, this PFL card's pretty stacked looking at it. I'm not gonna lie. And then next, Kamaru Usman now enters the pound for pound rankings at number 1. How do you guys feel about this?
Hey,
Deserved.
well deserved.
Yeah. Deserved.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
What
have a
does it
problem
really
with it.
mean? You want to get
He
specific?
number 1. He number 1.
I don't have a problem with that at all. I mean, is he coming off of a recent loss? And if you're looking at active fighters, John Jones hasn't been very active. Khabib shouldn't be in the conversation because he just retired. If we're talking active fighters, Volkanovski, quite talented, but hasn't really had the length of, I guess, reign as at a champion as Kamaru has. Then down at 35, yeah, I could see that. Jan's still establishing himself. Yeah, I don't have a problem with this. I think this is the right call to make.
Yeah, no, like I don't have an issue with it at all. I think it was a 2-horse race between him and Izzy, and with Izzy losing to Jan. Granted, moving up in weight doesn't really, affect the wind of the sails. Like let's say, losing in your own weight class does, but still, I think with that, you probably should give it to Kamaru. So yeah.
But pound for pound, no, I guess not. No, I guess you're right if you think about it.
So then we are just about done. Last announcement: Diego Sanchez out of his upcoming bout this weekend against Donald Cerrone.
Thank the Lord.
Can I get an amen? UFC.
Yeah.
This is your time. Just quietly cut him. Quietly cut him, please. Don't want to see him fighting anymore.
Wait, but why is he out though?
It says undisclosed reasons. I just maybe the star signs weren't aligned, and Joshua Fabia's like Mercury's in retrograde, and it's not the right time. Guys, let's cut Diego Sanchez.
I'm not gonna lie. When you whisper anything past 5 seconds, it's a hell on earth thing to edit.
We don't want to see this happen, please. We just want Diego Sanchez to be okay. All right. He's a legend, but he's clearly losing his mind, and Joshua Fabia is a bit of a nut bar. Please, we need this to stop. We don't want it to happen anymore. Well.
All right. Fights this weekend. Fights.
Oh yeah, fights. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Not the deepest card in the world, but Gleason Tebow's fighting on the PFL card. Holy schnitt.
Is he back to being juiced to the gills?
Oh, he's a juicy boy. Anyways, so this weekend we've got Rose Namajunas versus Weili Zhang. No, I'm kidding. That was last weekend. Interesting card. Interesting main card, which is I assume as deep as we're going to go into it, because I don't feel like talking about 10 and 11 random Marcos. In our main event for what?
Hey, she's a Canadian. It would be nice.
10 and 11 Canadian. For what will probably be the next contender up at light heavyweight, we've got Dom Reyes versus Jiri Procházka. And very, very interesting clash of styles. I've been following Jiri throughout Risen. Quite familiar with his work. Very chaotic, erratic. Loves front kicks up the middle. Has a very odd, awkward stance. And then there's Reyes, who's got a very movement-based style. Loves to get you to chase. Circles out to he's a southpaw, he'll circle out to your dominant side and loves to pick you off with that cross over the top, Henry Cejudo style. What do we think about this matchup, guys?
Yo, it's such a interesting matchup because I can see two scenarios. I can see Jiri Procházka, and his weird style giving Dominick Reyes fits and Jiri getting a TKO because Yuri's got power. Right, that's the thing people forget when they kind of watch him. He's
Yuri
got
can
power.
start you.
Yeah. But on the other hand, Dominick Reyes could really stymie Yuri's move, like weird style by basically waiting on the outside, waiting for Jiri to go first, which Jiri will go first, right? If baited to do it, slipping that right cross, coming back with his own left, followed by a right hook, and then Jiri goes out. I can see it because Dominic can starch people too. So, yeah, I don't know.
Jiri on a massive finishing streak, by the way, not just win streak, but finishing streak. He has the reach advantage over Reyes as well. So it would be Reyes's in his benefit to get Jiri chasing. It's going to be difficult because Yuri's always chaotic. Able to starch Oezdemir after losing a couple of rounds comfortably. It's going to be imperative for Reyes to lure Jiri in and get him chasing, because as we saw in the last fight against Jan Blachowicz, I expected him to handily win. Dominick Reyes, if you can lure him into those weird chaotic exchanges, get him coming forward, he's not quite as good in that lane. It's odd to see such a movement-based fighter at such a heavy weight class, but I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's just, I like this fight because of the intrigue. You don't usually when you go into fights a lot of times these days with the UFC, you kind of have an idea of what you think is going to happen, and then sometimes they'll surprise you, which is always good. But with this one, I have no clue. Like my Hail Mary guess is that Reyes will win by TKO because Jiri, as much of a weird guy and awkward guy as he is, there's not really a lot of fundamental to his game, at least from the outside looking in. So,
he's tactically sound, but not necessarily the most technically sound in all regards. He's wild. He's wild, is what he is. But intriguing, nonetheless. Guys, anything to say?
Not much to add. You guys seem to be way more versed on both, or well, on Jiri than I am. But yeah, I'm excited to watch this one. These guys are most likely going to be contenders in the light heavyweight division. So we'll see. I expect to see Reyes moving. I expect to see Jiri doing weird stuff. And it should be fun to watch, pretty much. That's that's where I'm at.
It's exciting. I don't see this one. Oh, go on.
Thanks. After watching Jiri in some film, I came to the same conclusion as you guys. Very wild in my eyes, and I believe that the movement of Reyes is going to render him inaccurate and unable to land and get that TKO. He just seems kind of more aggression than accuracy per se, or maybe there's a better word for it. I'm just trying to kind of use another A word, but more aggression and less technical soundness. I got Reyes winning this by decision.
Here's an interesting thing that will factor into this, though. Procházka's power carries late. Like, he's got...
Yeah, he can do it for 5.
He can do it for 5. His power carries into later rounds, and we've seen Reyes, because of his very movement-based style.
He does tire.
He tires in the later rounds, like in the late rounds of the John Jones fights and others. And for a big man to be moving that much on his toes, especially with the reach advantage, if he doesn't get it done early, it could be very difficult for him to, end up getting off on Oezdemir. On Procházka. So we will see.
Yeah. Well, an interesting thing too is that for example, his King Mo knockout, as violent as it was, King Mo was weirdly winning the fight. So, what I'm trying to explain is that Procházka will give up rounds. So if Reyes doesn't tire, or if Reyes doesn't tire as much as we think he would, or is expected, Procházka will drop some rounds, right? No?
Yeah, absolutely. absolutely. Never been finished, so he may have the durability to withstand. And especially if he avoids chasing, we will see what happens. Anything else, guys?
No, that's pretty
Pretty
much
much
it
covered
for
it.
me.
Okay. So our next matchup is, one for the hardcores, one for me actually. I'm quite excited for this fight. We got Giga Chikadze versus Cub Swanson. Former Glory fighter Giga Chikadze is on a massive streak right now. Let's see. Let's take a look at his record. I actually completely
12 and
forgot.
2.
12-2, and he is on a. Oh wow, very active in 2020. 4 wins in 2020. Sorry, just pulling up his record here. Have patience.
No worries.
4 wins in 2020. And then we have an additional 3 wins, one in 2019, the other 2 outside the UFC. He's been very active. Last loss was back in 2018 on the Contender Series. He's a former Glory fighter, as I mentioned. Accurate, fights well out of both stances. Usually looking for the liver kick out of southpaw, though. More of a kicker, more of a kicking-based offense than punching. Like his foundation is his kicks, coming from that karate background. But fast, accurate hands as well. Tends not to carry that much power in his strikes, but just a long, accurate fighter that cuts angles very, very well. And mixes things up at all levels quite well. His last fight, he actually found the finish, but against a not as well-ranked opponent in Jamie Simmons. And then we've got Cub Swanson and Mike and others, I guess, and Jeremy. I don't know. You guys have been low energy today. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, it is not a good one for me, but that's okay.
David, you're gonna fall right back to sleep after
this fight.
I'm trying my best.
I'm trying my best.
It's 10 o'clock. Okay. How old are we?
We're getting to that age though, where 10 o'clock is yeah.
Who's we? I'm ready to
go. Really, Michael?
Go.
Yo.
Anyways,
go on.
Cub Swanson with a bit of a career turnaround as of late. I mean, he seems to have found his ceiling in a very stacked and dangerous 145 division, but he's got that weird style where he's going to give anybody problems. Great. What's that?
Forward. That's a Cub Swanson. Forward. He's just going forward.
Yeah. Excellent stance switcher. And I think what could really trouble Chikadze is, Swanson can cut angles with the best of them. And if he can potentially find a way to cut the cage on Chikadze and get him to the ground, it could be a short night. We really haven't seen Chikadze tested on the ground very much.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect it to be a short night. I suspect Chikadze, especially if he's reached a high level in kickboxing, I would hope, he's putting some kind of respect and some kind of effort into jiu-jitsu. So when he gets taken down, I suspect he should be able to at least survive and try to get back up. But what I would, the area I would think there would be some difference would be the wrestling, because just Cub Swanson has been doing this for a lot longer than Chikadze. So I'm just wondering, is Cub Swanson, is his wrestling advantage that much better than?
Well, I would say Cub Swanson's jiu-jitsu is more of his of the advantage. Where I think Cub Swanson's going to really enjoy his advantage is once it gets to the ground, Giga is going to probably look like a fish out of water.
High level black belt, Cub Swanson. He had a grappling match actually with Jake Shields, which he tore his entire knee, and that put him out for a long time until the Daniel Pineda fight ended up happening. And what a turnaround that fight was.
Yeah. No. So, I mean, look, I think Giga probably. This is a very tough test for Giga though. Because he probably will win, based on just the way he's very good at just not getting cut off, and I don't necessarily think Cub Swanson is good enough to cut him off, at this stage of his career. But if Giga slips, or if Cub is able to land a takedown, it might not be sweet for Giga. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, with how fast he moves, though, and how good he is at just striking and then leaving on a different angle than he entered in, we will see. Then we've got a light heavyweight banger, Jan Kuntalaba, the Hulk, versus another former kickboxer and glory fighter, in Dustin Jacoby. What is this? The glory reunion on this card?
And not gonna say much, but give me Jacoby. Give me Jacoby on that one.
Look at Jacoby to target the legs often and early, and look at Kuntalaba to scream at his face in the weigh-ins and possibly gas after the second round.
Yeah.
But expect fireworks from this one is what I'll say. This will be a thoroughly entertaining fight.
One thing I will say, though, is that Dustin Jacoby does tend to kind of drop the hands when he does fire the kick, and it's something that a lot of good leg kickers do. I find is they're so confident in throwing hard leg kicks that they'll tend to kind of not have intelligent defense upstairs with their leg kicks, and that's something that Dustin Jacoby unfortunately does suffer from. So it would behoove Kuntalaba to actually crash the leg kick, and attack it with a right cross or a left hook or some sort of weapon that gets there as the retraction or as the kick is happening. Because I think he could give Jacoby some issues there. But Jacoby also has a baseball bat for a leg kick, so yeah.
And then preceding this, we've got another interesting fight. We've got
actually, it's a good fight. Actually, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
it is.
Decent ones. So that was a little harsh to begin with.
Sean Strickland versus Krzysztof Jotko. Sean Strickland will talk the entire time. I love it.
I don't know. I remember this guy. I actually remember this guy. I remember his last fight was okay, but the one before that, oh man, it was
way too
insufferable.
much.
He was talking way too
Oh,
much.
I loved it.
But you know what?
Come on, let's see who wants to fight for the center.
Right? There's something to be said for, like, not necessarily, he doesn't necessarily trash talk, and there's something to be said for when you're loose, you're at your best, you know? So
let's get this guy against Kevin Holland. I think that would be fun if he wins this fight.
Yeah, man. Dana's not watching that one, that's for sure.
You know what though?
Jotko's one of those guys.
Am I watching a UFC fight or a rap battle? What's going on?
Yeah, literally.
You know what though? I've always said though that the UFC should have like a mic'd up section. Like, you know how NBA has mic'd up and NFL has mic'd up? The UFC should have mic'd up.
Do you think the world is ready for that? Anyway.
Man, there was an interesting moment where I think Tim Elliott and I can't remember who the fighter was, but he goes, "I heard you used to beat your girl back in 2012." While he's on top of him. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to a place that is really uncomfortable. He's like, yeah, I heard you used to choke her. And he's like pounding on him. He's like, and then the guy at the bottom's like, you don't know shit, bro. You don't know the full story.
You don't know the full story.
Yeah, and I think the guy got warned like by the referee. That was actually relatively recent.
Yeah.
I don't believe in referees stopping trash talk, by the way. It's a professional fight. Let it take place.
I mean, I guess the aim is more so for the entertainment value, where it's like, okay, if a guy is just screaming the F word everywhere, you can't have it on NBC. So let's try to.
Well, good thing it's not aired on NBC.
Sorry, ABC.
It is aired on Disney.
Right? No, because some ABC sometimes hosts the fights, right? That's why Kevin Holland got in a lot of trouble for saying the F word.
Maybe that could be like a UFC like fight pass thing. They have like the actual like mic'd up instead of
Sorry. Anyway, that was a tangent.
So, anyways, we've got Merab Dvalishvili versus Cody Stamann. I can't wait for Merab Dvalishvili to fight again generally, because he's a takedown machine.
Nobody seems to be able to stop him in this division. Like, he keeps just running through guys, I feel.
He from knee taps to hip tosses, he's a wizard. I love it. And Cody
Cody's
Stamann,
a tough test though.
he's absolutely a tough test. Cody hits hard, man. Let's see what has Cody been up to?
He had that
Lost it.
draw
Oh,
that
he had
was-
that close fight with Jimmy Rivera. That's
Yeah.
right. That was a fun one. That fight was leg kicks all over the place. Yeah. This is going to be
Was
an
it
interesting
him
one.
or was it some? Was it? It was him who had that draw with Song Dog. That was definitely not a draw. Was that him or was that somebody
Was
else?
that Stamann?
Yeah, that was Stamann. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
that was definitely not a draw. And that's not to diss Song Dog. I like Song Dog, but definitely not a draw. So yeah.
Yeah, I tend to think Dvalishvili really will get this done based on takedown prowess, but yeah, we will see. And then we've got the final fight. We're all tired here. Final fight on the main card: Poliana Botella versus Luana Carolina. I think I've heard of Carolina, but
She's the one who got her knee torn to shreds on that knee bar by Ariane
How is
Lipsky.
she back? No way.
Yeah.
How long has it been?
Oh my God! I think it was literally 5 months ago. So maybe it
July
wasn't that
18th,
bad.
2020. Okay.
So okay, no, that's definitely not enough time to come back from a knee injury because she got
Yeah.
at least from our vantage point, it could have probably not been as bad, but at least from the vantage point I saw, it looked like at least an ACL was gone. At least.
Yeah, you never know. You never know because some people can have the ability to hyperextend their knees. But yeah.
I mean, you know what? In fairness to Luana Carolina, it looked like she was going for a bear trap and just kind of made a tactical error on the bear trap. So, it's not like she was outclassed in that fight. So if maybe she's been working on her game and her knee is 100%, I see her pulling elbow against Bolatello. Bolatello's not, no offense, is not that good.
Yeah,
So-
we will see. We will see. Anyways, I think that does us for this UFC card. Jeremy, you want to get into boxing?
Absolutely. Guys, I'm going to go quick, so pay attention because these guys got to get out of here. Because this is a big, huge heavyweight weekend. So if you find time, you want to tune into the Fox pay-per-view card or the DAZN card, let me let you know what is going on. Andy Ruiz makes his return after losing his belts to AJ. He's going to be fighting Chris Arreola, who is a formidable test. Has definitely been floating around that gatekeeper area.
Anytime you're fighting a part of the nipple, it's definitely a big test.
You do this every time. It didn't work the first time. It didn't work the second time. Like,
Jeremy chuckled.
all right.
All right, yeah, that's a big fight. That one's definitely going to be pretty good. I mean, you got two Mexican warriors fighting the Mexican style. They're going to be coming forward. They're going to be throwing a lot of combinations, which you don't tend to see in heavyweight fights. So it's going to be big. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be a lot of fun. On the same card, you got Sebastian Fortuna. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was on the Errol Spence, Danny Garcia card. He was the big 6 foot, some crazy welterweight. And unfortunately, he put it on.
Oh, yeah, he had the long reach and he put it on our boy.
Our Ghanaian countryman. And he's going to be fighting on that card. And then Israel Landy Lara is also fighting on that card. Those are the big names that you guys, if you have time, you're going to be split screening. You want to check out those big names. And then on the DAZN card, this is a great card. You got Derek Cesario versus Joseph Parker. Those are also two heavyweights who are also can compete for world titles.
Not so much Parker. Parker is kind of,
Well, he's on the decline.
At least I think both of them are, but like I think Parker's got a little less left in the tank. By my recollection, I could be wrong. Huh?
Cesario has some left in the tank.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think Parker switched up his training camp, so I think he might be trying to resurrect his career.
Fair enough.
No, but I mean it's a good fight regardless. Even if they are on the decline, it is a good fight, in my opinion. So you have Dmitry Bivol, who had a really good fight against Artur Beterbiev. And if you know anything about Artur Beterbiev, he's probably the best light heavyweight out there right now. So, and Dmitry Bivol took him to task. So he's going to be fighting against Craig Richards. I suggest you tune into that. Katie Taylor is also on this card. She's fighting a young lady named Natasha Jonas. No relation to the Jonas Brothers.
Sorry. Who? Katie
Natasha
Taylor.
Jonas.
Katie Taylor in 2. Whatever. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So check out Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor is definitely on Clarissa Shields status. Chris Eubanks Jr. Also is fighting Marcus Morrison. And Ricky Haddon's son, Campbell Haddon, is fighting, and he did pretty good in his last fight. I can't remember who he fought, but it was actually, no, I think it went the distance, but he still looked pretty good. So I'd like to see how
glory, Ricky Haddon. Glory, Ricky Haddon.
Oh,
remember the Floyd Mayweather press conference where Ricky Haddon fans came in full force and that's all they were singing?
Oh, yeah.
Glory, Ricky Haddon. Glory.
I mean, where do they not cheer against Floyd, though?
Huh?
Where do they not cheer against Floyd?
Yeah,
really?
Good point.
Really?
Good point. But
So-
like that press
No. Ricky Haddon has a huge following, so his son, in turn, will also have a huge following. They really want him to succeed. They really want. Yo,
I mean, I'll be surprised.
Campbell Haddon, the son of Ricky Haddon, spitting image. Literally the spitting image of Ricky Haddon.
So bad fundamentals and aggression. Yes.
Yeah, for the
Do
most
that.
part.
Don't do that. For a man who stepped in there, risked his life, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, look, I get it. I've also like as on a way lower level, I've also had some fights where it had to turn ugly. So I get it. But Ricky had in every fight, he's getting punched in the face a lot. He just happens to throw way more.
Yeah, if I had one critique about his kid's game, it's that he kind of gets tired in the later rounds and he doesn't have as much volume. So he slows down and he makes it a little too close, I would say. But he's definitely a talented kid, definitely aggressive. So like very much, yeah, like his pops. And yeah, those are the main names. Really big card, a lot of names this weekend. So if and one thing I want to say about when we were having the discussion about the UFC growing and everything, I really like that, with the growth of the UFC, you definitely saw it. Like the last card that took place, you saw it making headline. I mean, a lot had to do with like Jake Paul and everything, but still there were people paying attention to the main card as well and what the actual fights that were taking place. And I think with the growth of the UFC, I think it's going to bring more eyes to the recognition of like, it's going to give people a lot more respect for martial arts, individual martial arts, and it's going to tune people into the sport of boxing. I mean, even myself, I am really into glory kickboxing now, and that's as a result of the UFC. So I think with the growth of the UFC, I think you're going to see people starting to appreciate other types of combat sports.
Jeremy, I think my problem with that is that like it's fueled off the back of fighters who are being
hilariously underpaid,
exploited. Let's call it for what it is. Right now we're having a discussion for underpaid.
Welcome to Socialist MMA. We're your host.
Anyway,
but I agree.
But if you have,
it's just so weird that it's great that, but the only part of the reason is because the UFC is one of the only things that's been on during the entire pandemic because they've been
exploiting the fighters.
But
David, if I could put my conservative cap on for a second, the argument here though is that if you do kind of not underpay hilariously like the UFC is doing, but if you do kind of say, listen, the pain's going to be now, but in the long term it can work. You can actually use that money to reinvest into your product. And when you rapidly reinvest, you can it's a sound strategy. You can
Okay, yeah, and then the Venom deal is gonna give more money to the fighters. Sounds good. Okay.
remember
Let's
that.
try
Oh,
this
they're gonna get a
show.
substantial increase. Yeah, what's the
And it
substantial
turned out to be like $1,000 more.
like a gift card to the Mandarin. Here's a gift card to the Mandarin on top of the pay. Like, get
A
out of
slap in the face, if you will.
here, man. Sorry. All right.
Hey, but with more eyes on the UFC, you have more eyes on UFC issues. So it has the potential to maybe.
That's fair. That's fair.
Let's
Yeah,
hope. Let's hope we get more honest coverage of this, because I don't see too many people talking about it in a big way that matters. But
Yeah.
wasn't there some kind of a story about David maybe losing his virginity at band camp or something like that with one of the
We're gonna
counselors?
save that one till Sunday or whenever we do our pod.
Okay, well, tune into Sunday for. Are we doing a question segment now, or are we just wrapping it up?
We can do a question segment.
Yeah. Sorry. Let's make this.
All right.
Let's make this quick.
Yeah, no, we can make this fairly quick. Sorry, guys. Okay.
So the question is, David, this comes from one of our fans. How was it losing your virginity at band camp? And
well, one of our fans, it was fine because that never happened. But thank you for asking. And keep asking questions in ask at the whatever. Anyway,
Like1@gmail.com, or you can send us a message on Instagram.
Did you get your flute? Did you get your flute cleaned?
What is my flute?
No, he got his tromboned.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, so this comes from Julian Ibrahim, and his question is: if Derek Lewis beats Francis, should Jones still fight Francis without a belt?
I think Jones. Honestly, I was always of the opinion that Jones should have a let's see how he is at heavyweight kind of fight, But obviously, the UFC is in favor of getting him in the highest profile fights possible. And I think that Derek Lewis if he does beat Francis, has the potential to, to be kind of a star. I mean, he's already a bit of a cult figure within MMA. I agree. Yeah, put him in with UFC's current strategy. I say put him in right with the title. I'd like to see him get a fight at heavyweight before he, before he gets straight to the title. But clearly, that's not what the UFC is gunning for. So, what do you guys think?
I think. Well, I guess the question was, would he face Ngannou for the title? And I think if Derek Lewis wins, winner gets John Jones, right?
Yeah.
So, I would say that it's more reason to, and I actually think John Jones has more of a chance against Derek Lewis than he does against Francis Ngannou, which is weird. It's like Derek Lewis is the one guy who could probably beat Francis Ngannou because he has the power to.
You're forgetting my boy Cyril Gane, but go on.
Cyril Gane probably has the technical ability to do it.
Cyril, I didn't forget you.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike did, but I didn't forget you.
The idea is that like Derek Lewis is that weird paper to Francis Ngannou's rock, and then John Jones is like the scissors to like Derek Lewis's paper. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do. Where John Jones can lengthen out the fight and feint and use a variety of strikes to kind of keep Derek Lewis guessing. Whereas Derek Lewis kind of has the physicality clearly to contend with Francis. Mind you, this is a very new Francis we're dealing with, so we're going to have to find out.
Yeah. No, it's a good point, but yeah, like, so I think actually it would probably benefit Jones if he's just thinking legacy strictly for Derek Lewis to kind of pop Francis Ngannou and, honestly, and move on.
I would give John Jones, if I were dictator of the UFC, I'd give him a much lower ranked fighter than either of these, because we don't know how he's going to look up a weight class. We really don't know. Like,
it's true.
We saw, I mean, the light heavyweight to heavyweight transition is not one that we commonly see, right? So I want to see what he looks like up there. Is he slow? Can he sustain the cardio? John Jones never had one strike finishing power at light heavyweight. how do his strikes affect heavyweights? Does his grappling even play a factor now up a weight class? These are questions that I think need to be answered, and I'd like to see him against, Jairzinho
Rozenstruik would probably be a good one. Maybe
I would even go lower down the heavyweight rankings,
Like, so Augusto Sakai.
Yeah.
Maybe like Blagoy Ivanov, Sergey Spivak. But like, that's
absolutely. Let's go for
but
those.
Like, no one wants to see that.
Oh, no. Okay, please.
John Jones versus anyone's going to sell. Let's be honest. John versus Stipe. How about that?
Jones versus Sergey Spivak?
You know what? There's a little man by the name of Greg Hardy.
See, I thought you were going to go there. And people would love to see that because that means John Jones is going to put a beating on that guy.
Crown jewel. They're saving that one for a special day, I feel like.
Yeah.
No, but I was going to say, anyway, sorry, Jeremy, what do you think?
Or what about Maurice Green?
Hell no, because John Jones is going to beat him 8 ways to Sunday. No, like, why?
That was a good point that you made, actually, about his grappling, and I didn't even know that he didn't have that kind of power in his hands. So I would say Jairzinho Rozenstruik, but yeah, I mean, you put him there, you put John Jones with anybody, I'm gonna tune in, frankly.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, even if Derek Lewis does beat Francis, I still want to see Francis versus John Jones. I just think it's like an exciting.
Oh yeah, that was the original question.
Yeah. No, I only have it right.
Same. Yeah. Same.
Because I think for his legacy it makes sense, but for Jones to fight Lewis if Lewis wins, but just for like a spectacle, I think I like the questions posed in like the other matchup. With Francis Ngannou a little bit more personally. Mm-hmm. Anyway, okay, let's move on to the next question. We have Zach the Black. Thank you for your question, Zach the Black.
Oh, I love Zach.
Zach the African?
Shout out Zach, man. He's one of the Anyway, so he says, what does Usman have to do to solidify his reign as champ? I'll go first and say that he's already solidified his reign as champ. So I guess, opening up the question, what do you think he has to do? What more do you
Sorry, could you repeat that question again? I was a little distracted there.
Hilarious. He said, what does Usman have to do to solidify his reign as champ?
I mean, isn't his reign as champ already? Okay, to solidify, does he mean like to clean out the division at 170?
See,
what do we mean by solidify?
Is the way I'm interpreting it.
I think my interpretation of the question was like, what does he have to do to become like, I guess, the GOAT of like the division? I
think what he's really asking is, does it matter? Like, does Colby Covington make him? I feel like that's what I'm hearing underneath the question. Is that does Colby Covington solidify him? Or is he already solidified without
This is one thing.
I would say there's 3 fights we need to see. 3 imperative fights that we need to see. One of them would be Kobe. I think while I do favor Masvidal in that matchup, his pace and his wrestling could present issues, and we need to see that fight run back. There was comically little wrestling in the first match. I think we need to see him against a second fight against Leon Edwards would be quite fun, and Leon has kind of built a style where he's very dangerous in the clinch now, and being at range would be no cakewalk either. Again, I tend to favor Usman, but then the third fight that I think we need to see is the Wonder Boy fight. And I don't know why people keep forgetting my boy Steve. David's looking at me cockeyed.
To see the Wonder Boy fight though, like I mean, is that one of those like fantasy?
The facts is this: if Wonder Boy beats,
why is it a fantasy matchup? Wonder Boy's at the top of the division. He's on a massive win streak. He made Vicente Luque look amateur.
Okay,
so Wonder Boy wins the championship. Then how many title fights?
No, but like what I'm trying to, I guess the point is that the facts is this: Wonder Boy, through, let's say, the entire welterweight reign has lost 3 times. in like 12 fights. And the fact is this: if he beats Burns,
Greg Hardy.
I was gonna say Greg Hardy, but if he beats Gilbert Burns, he can call for a title shot. He's right there. So yeah,
he doesn't talk trash, and he's not
years
as
old, but you know,
like, come on, Wonder Boy's still doing the damn thing, and if we want to be considered a legitimate sport, let's get some legitimate contenders in there.
I get that.
He deserves
back
it.
in the
That's
day.
all.
George St. Pierre had to fight your John Fitches and your Jake Shields, who deserve the title shot, but may not have been the most charismatic or interesting to the casual fans. But they worked their way up the division.
Wonder Boy can talk. Wonder Boy.
I don't think it's about charismatic or like interesting, because he's got a crazy, interesting, flashy style to watch anyway. I mean, I don't think he has like the knockout necessarily like moves or knockout power that usually comes with like highlights or anything. But I just
you don't think Wonder Boy can produce knockouts?
No, I'm not saying that. I just don't think he's known for his knockouts, in my opinion. But anyway,
let's be honest. It's because he's white. This is discrimination against white people.
Hilarious. No, what I was gonna say, man. Now you distracted me from my point. No, but what I was gonna say is that honestly, I just think not to be ageist, but it's kind of like, okay, we should be like promoting guys who are gonna want to hold on to the like championship for a while, and
because Wonder Boy realistically can't do this till.
And I totally respect Usman. And for me, the question is like, what more can Usman do? And it's kind of like, okay, well, he says he wants to like go around like the division and basically lap dudes, where he beats dudes twice, which is fair enough. And yeah,
GSP did that. GSP did that. When GSP was reigning, yeah.
Oh, I think also, if he wants to be considered good, he has to beat Hayato Sakurai.
That's such a like weird ass obscure reference that like two people got and laughed.
And Carlos Newton.
Man, yeah, my boy Carlos Newton though. With that, let's end the podcast.
Yeah, any more questions? We can save them for the next time. Well, this was a fun, low-energy episode. This episode was like lo-fi beats to chill and study to.
Man, this episode is brought to you by molasses.
Yes.
Man. Anyway, who's threatening the children today?
Oh, we haven't done that in a while. I'm pretty tired myself, so subscribe to the podcast, like us. You can find us where you find podcasts. That's YouTube. That's Spotify. That's any podcast app. Even your grandpa's old porn tapes. And if you don't subscribe to the podcast, tell your friends about it. I will beat your children to death. How's that?
Wonderful.
Mike, to play us out.
Beating children to death isn't crossing the line, but making a... Never mind. I'm not even gonna say it again.
Beating children is crossing the line. I think YouTube's gonna demonetize us for that too. To be honest, and then we'll be stuck at 225 subscribers forever.
Well, to play us out, Mike, what does that mean?
I don't know. Are we doing this live?
All right. We'll do it dead.
In this crazy mixed up world, where the UFC is really gonna put Michelle Waterson versus Marina Rodriguez is a main event. God help us all. I love Michelle Waterson, but not a main event. Just remember, you got three things: you got life, you got family, and on the way, a Rachel Ostovich OnlyFans. Take it easy, everybody.